Welcome into OutKick the Show. I am your fearless leader, Clay Travis, and everyone else, it feels like, in sports media has lost their minds except for your boy. All right, this shirt feels particularly appropriate. MSESPN, 40 years on air, and they did 35 years dealing with sports. Yesterday might have been the worst day in the history of ESPN as a network. I'm going to explain why coming up momentarily. But first, I want to tell you to go sign up for the OutKick VIP. If you love everything that Jason Whitlock and I are doing, and Jason Whitlock today testified in front of the House Judiciary Committee about the importance of diversity of ideas in sports media and media larger, then you need to go sign up today for OutKick VIP. Go to OutKick.com, sign up for the VIP. We are rolling all of the money that we are making from VIP into hiring new talent so that we can have a broader scope and a larger influence than we already do. If you love this show, if you love my radio show, there's a lot more coming in your direction, and we need your help to get as big and as bad and as tough as we possibly can. Go to OutKick.com. And if you don't even want to do that, all I need you to do is go to FanDuel.com/Clay, and you can bet $1,000 for free on tonight's NFL game between the Dolphins and the Jags. FanDuel.com/Clay. Sign up there. Again, I'd love to have you in the VIP. Love to have you signed up at FanDuel. All right. We've got a ton to get to, but I want to talk big picture about where we are as a society and how MSESPN has lost their way fundamentally. All right, let's talk about this for a minute. First of all, ESPN last night covered Breonna Taylor not as a news network, but as a propaganda network predicated and dedicated to the idea that America is a fundamentally awful place and that all police are white supremacists. They literally shared a statement from Colin Kaepernick calling police officers white supremacists and demanding that everyone abolish the police, okay? Shortly after they shared that Colin Kaepernick propaganda piece to all of their followers, 37 million of them, 2 Louisville police officers were shot. That is the direct result of the atmosphere that athletes and coaches and players and leagues and places like MSESPN are creating. They are creating the idea that police are the enemy and that they deserve to be abolished, they deserve to be attacked, they deserve to be scourges of the earth. And that is fundamentally not true. It's dishonest. It's disingenuous, and it is a fundamental failure of the most basic tenets of journalism and news. Yesterday was the saddest and worst and most inexcusable day in the 40-year history of ESPN. Because over and over and over again, they propagandized inaccurately, not discussing actual news, but taking their cue from idiots on social media like Colin Kaepernick, and allowing uneducated and unsophisticated and unaware people to spread falsehoods and propaganda through their airwaves. Frankly, it was inexcusable, okay? The facts on Breonna Taylor are these. There was a warrant. There are at least one witness who says they screamed police as they went into a house where they had an apartment they had a legal warrant for. Breonna Taylor's boyfriend was a drug dealer. And when they opened the door and went inside, he shot a police officer. They then returned fire, killing her. The boyfriend survived. Okay? Those are the facts. And if you believe it's going to be easy to get a conviction when a alleged drug dealer shoots a police officer first and they return fire, then quite simply, you have no comprehension of the American judicial system. But if you have that opinion, they specifically impaneled a grand jury to allow them to review all of the evidence. if the evidence supported bringing charges against the police officers for murder, it would have happened because the standard is incredibly low for a grand jury. Take it from me, a lawyer. The Attorney General of the state of Kentucky is a black man. I believe his name is Daniel Cameron. His race shouldn't matter, but I watched him walk through all of the facts in the case. Do you believe that a black Attorney General in charge of Kentucky is going to allow a murder to take place and not bring charges if there was evidence to justify charges being brought? The facts are these. Breonna Taylor's boyfriend was a drug dealer. She may well have been involved if you look at all the evidence in drug dealing herself. They had a legal warrant to enter her apartment. They said that they yelled police, came inside, and immediately one of them was shot. They returned fire, and unfortunately she died. That, my friends, is not what you are hearing on ESPN all day yesterday. You heard propaganda. You heard an inability to analyze news. You know who I didn't hear? A single legal expert analyzing things. I didn't hear anyone walking people through the facts. If you wanted those facts, you could find them many places in the media. ESPN did an awful, pathetic, poor, inexcusable job for their audience explaining an issue, and instead they were unable to even understand the most basic elements of what happened in this case. And frankly, many of the facts that they supposedly shared were inaccurate. Okay? That is a failure of a journalistic news organization. There should be absolutely no justification from anyone for the performance of ESPN yesterday. It was shameful. It was pathetic. It was downright disgusting what they did. Spreading falsehoods, spreading propaganda, creating division, creating more danger for police officers than otherwise already exists in what is one of the most dangerous police officer years ever. Most recently, shootings of police officers were up 40% this year over last year. That is because many parts of the American public have accepted the idea that police officers should be shot, and that's directly why people were shot, 2 of them in Louisville. LeBron James continues to spread falsehoods, propaganda, not be called on it. He still will not condemn the shooting that took place of 2 LA area police officers. All of this is at its most basic level, a fundamental failure. And I say this as a lawyer who has worked on every angle of cases before. The facts should drive us. I have done criminal law before. I understand the difficulties involved in it. Some police make mistakes, but this demagoguery must stop. This idea that is radicalizing so many people in the world of sports and beyond through social media because people believe fundamental falsehoods, including this Nimrod, Mark Jones, who's calling, of all games, the Army game this weekend. This guy's Twitter feed is a cesspool of left-wing idiocy and angst. He tweeted that he would no longer accept a police escort at games because he was afraid the police would shoot him. He said that on Twitter. He tweeted, he calls football games. First of all, let's start here. Nobody knows who Mark Jones is. Why does he need a police escort at all? I am 4 billion times as famous as Mark Jones. Do you know how many times I have ever had a police escort at any football game I've ever gone to in my life? 0. And by the way, that ain't a racial sign. That's a 0, you nincompoop losers. All right? So, when you actually think about it, the idea that he ever had a police escort in the first place is insane. But he's been getting police escorts to call football games and basketball games for 30 years. 30 years. Do you know how many issues Mark Jones has had from police escorts during that time? 0. 0 issues. This idea that he's afraid that he's going to get shot by his police escort, and so he's going to turn him down in the years ahead, is one of the dumbest things that I've ever heard. ESPN should fire this idiot just for being that dumb, all right? Just for being willing to get on Twitter and say something that incomprehensibly stupid. Fire him for idiocy. I don't care about opinions. Some opinions I see are so dumb, you shouldn't be able to go on my airwaves anymore. If I had an employee who sent a tweet that dumb, I would fire him, not because I disagree with it, but because he's too dumb to be employed by my company. That is the truth, all right? Now, Mark Jones also has been tweeting favorably about Nick Bosa tearing his ACL because he is a Donald Trump supporter. In fact, he favorited and liked tweets saying at least now Nick Bosa won't be able to stand for the national anthem. Every time Mark Jones has referred to America in the past couple of months, he has spelled America with 3 Ks as in the KKK. This dude is an imbecile, all right? He is an ignoramus of the highest order, but what is more scary is that he has been radicalized by untruths and falsehoods on social media, and his Twitter feed has gone completely off the reservation. I actually think this guy might be in the midst of mental distress. I think he is psychologically unstable right now. He certainly doesn't deserve to be allowed in front of a mic. And if I was his boss at ESPN right now, I would be wondering if he needs a psychiatric evaluation after reading all of his comments, because his Twitter feed is nonsensical. It reads like someone who is unable to discern truth from fiction, which is kind of an important deal when you're putting somebody on national television. This guy is, I think, an example of the radicalization that can happen if you spend too much time on social media, okay? Some people say, Clay, how has your audience exploded like it has? It's not because I've gone full-on hot take artist. It's because there is so much insanity out there. There is a desperate need for reasonableness. And I consider myself to be the most reasonable man in all of sports right now. I look at the facts. I come back to you with reasonable perspectives. And it's so rare for someone to look at the facts and be reasonable that we are dominating in a world filled with unreasonable people, okay? The Mark Joneses of the world, the MSESPNs of the world. Now, let me say this. Everybody at ESPN does not agree with what happened yesterday on their network. In fact, lots of ESPN employees have privately reached out to me and said that they were embarrassed by what they saw on their airwaves. Why are so many people embarrassed by what they saw on the airwaves but unable or unwilling to speak out publicly about what they are seeing? Because they are afraid of losing their jobs. There are a ton of people at ESPN who are watching this right now. There are a ton of people at ESPN who are listening to this right now, and they are saying, amen, amen, hallelujah, Clay Travis. I can look at our Google Analytics right now, and the number of people who visit every single day from Bristol, Connecticut is massive. Everybody at ESPN is reading our website, and a huge percentage of their employees agree with everything that I am saying. And it is shameful what they have allowed that network to become. Several years ago when I called them MSESPN, I didn't think they could become even more of a lunatic bin. They have allowed the absolute crazy town residents to take over that network, and they are driving it right into the gutter. It is unbelievable. The NBA ratings, nobody will talk about it because they're all terrified. The NBA ratings have tanked. Guys, not one NBA playoff game has outrated the Michael Jordan Chicago Bulls documentary that aired on ESPN about the 1990s. Let me repeat that. Not one NBA playoff game this year has outrated a documentary about Michael Jordan and the Chicago Bulls in the 1990s. If you ever wondered the difference between Jordan and LeBron, more people would rather watch old footage of Jordan playing basketball in the 1990s then watch LeBron play new games today. The NBA ratings are down 40% over last year. Never has there been a smaller audience watching LeBron James in the Eastern or Western Conference Finals than right now, even when he played against Canadian teams. Last night, head-to-head, Tucker Carlson and Sean Hannity both had more viewers than the NBA did for the Boston Celtics against the Miami Heat. Let me repeat that. Last night, Fox News Information Television, Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson rose up and dunked all balls in the face style on the NBA Eastern Conference playoffs on ESPN. Think about how wild that is. There was no competition last night. There was no competition the night before. There's no football going on. Sean Hannity and Tucker Carlson rose up and dunked all balls in the face style on the Heat, the Celtics, and the woke NBA. ESPN is tanking on a level I've never seen before. It's shameful, it's pathetic, but it also proves that markets ultimately get everything right. Mark Jones is unfortunately a perfect metaphor for the shirt that I am wearing right now. Over 40 years on air, 35 of those years actually covering sports. The last 5 years for ESPN has been a disaster. Their brand is in tatters. They should be ashamed of themselves. They have taken something that used to unify us all, sports, and they have managed to denigrate the overall sport that they were covering, particularly the NBA. All right, a couple of other things. I'm fired up because I've never seen any day. I watched a lot of the coverage because I was like, I got to be able to see this. The propaganda, the outright far left-wing lunacy, it's unlike anything that has ever existed in the history of sports going on at this exact moment. And I don't care whether you're a Republican or a Democrat. If you watch that coverage, it is shameful. It is uninformed. It is riddled with factual inaccuracies. People who don't understand the most basic elements of the criminal justice system opining on a case they haven't studied for more than 5 minutes, most of whom have never actually had even a single criminal justice course in their entire lives. It is shameful. And again, not even getting the most basic facts right. Even if you decide to cover a random criminal investigation, at least you owe basic journalistic decency to getting the facts right. They didn't do it. I didn't think anybody could be dumber than Max Kellerman on air for ESPN. And then I saw what Mark Jones was saying, and I take it back. I'd like to apologize to Max Kellerman. There's somebody actually dumber than you that's employed at ESPN. SEC football, thank God, back in 2 days. Tomorrow, the commissioner of the SEC, Greg Sankey, will be on with us for the OutKick the Coverage Show. He's going to be up early with us. We'll be on around 5:15 in the morning tomorrow. If you're not already listening, by the way, to the OutKick the Coverage Show, you should be. Go listen, subscribe, and make sure you don't miss a minute. It's the most honest place you can go for sports anywhere in America right now. Also, Dolphins-Jags tonight. I am on the over, and also I am on the Jags. I also like Gardner Minshew over on total passing yards, over 260. That is my bet for you guys tonight in Thursday Night Football. Encourage you to go get your bets in at fanduel.com/Clay. And by the way, if you love this program, if you love what we are telling you and sharing with you every single day, if you like me and you like Jason Whitlock, share it with your friends and make sure that you go out and subscribe to the OutKick VIP. We are rolling in VIP subscribers like crazy. Get an autographed copy of my book. We had to go back to the printer and have them make thousands of more copies of my book because literally we bought every copy that was available. So if you've already signed up, we are sending out a ton of them today. I think we had 1,000 copies arrive at my house this afternoon. I appreciate all of you. Again, the over tonight, the Jags, and over on Gardner Minshew. If you want $1,000 free to gamble, go to fanduel.com/Clay. That's FanDuel.com/Clay. All right, I will be on television on FS1, Fox Bet Live, talking gambling. I appreciate all of you. I love you. Thank you for listening. Share the show if you like it with your friends. You can go subscribe to the audio only if you're not always around. Search out OutKick on iTunes. You will find us there. Give us 5 stars. If we read your 5-star review, then guess what? You get a special VIP 5-star review t-shirt that no one else can get. I thank all of you. DBAP, unless you need to SBAP, I love you and appreciate all of you for supporting me. And for those of you out there watching right now who hate me, I want you to look at me really carefully. You are looking at a man that you are helping to make $100 millionaire. I want you to look deeply into my eyes, and I want you to see this from the deepest part of my soul. Thank you for hating me. Please share that hate with every single person that you know so that I can continue to rise up and dunk on you even more ferociously, so that my bank account can continue to rise even more exponentially, so that you can know the pain of my success. I wear it and love it and dunk on you every day. And I appreciate you taking my balls right in your face and having to wear it every single day that we become more dominant at OutKick. From me to you, kisses. Wear it, losers. Love you, everybody else, but I particularly love the haters. I'll see you guys